So we also discussed about how to clear the post-dated check transactions, clearing entries, how to post them through accounts payable module. So in through general ledger we have done it. So did you remember what we have done in general ledger? Normally in general ledger we used this in functions part, used this option select bridge transactions and reverse the bridge transactions or clear the bridge transactions. I hope you remember, all of you. This one, select bridge transactions, and we have reversed it. I also told you there is another way to clear a post dated check, that's in accounts payable module. So under payments we have vendor post dated checks. Here you can see accounts payable, payments, vendor post dated checks. If you click on vendor post dated checks, you can see the list of checks. So we have this transaction. See, maturity date is 10th of September 2021, which is already crossed. Today we are in 13th. So now we can settle this or clear this bridging transaction of this post dated check. So for that we can click on this settle clearing entries. So it says that number of vouchers posted to journal 1. So it automatically posts the settlement voucher to the journal. So where that posts, we can see it now. Actually, that get posted in general ledger module automatically. So go to general ledger, general journals, go for posted transactions, posted on, just refresh the or select the criteria as new to old, so that new transactions will come upwards. Or you can also do this filter by using this as actually use this filter from Z to A, so that biggest number will come upwards. Z to A. So this is the journal. This is posted today at this time. Click this. This actually system is showing Pacific time. Don't confused. Okay. So you can see here this account, PDC vendor account, is getting debited automatically and bank account is getting credited automatically with the $1,700. I mean, since a vendor payment, right? So bank account will get credited. So a bridging, a clearing transaction for bridging of posting account, post dated checks will automatically get posted once we click here and click on settlement and post clearing transactions. This one, settle clearing entries. System will post the voucher. So how can system know that it should take general journal only? Any idea?
We have given an option while in the cash and bank management and post-dated checks. We have
Correct. In cash and bank management.
Cash and bank management parameters, we have given an option. We have enabled an option.
Parameters. Yes, correct. So in cash and bank management parameters, under post dated checks, we have given this journal, general journal for clearing entries. Here we gave general journal. So system automatically picked this journal, created a journal, posted the journal also automatically. Right? So this is the key area where we have to give the journal name for clearing entries. So that system will automatically create and post the settlement entry once you select this and click on settle clearing entries. Clear, guys? This one, how to settle them through accounts payable module, for all of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Then if this is clear, this would be the end for post dated check concept. So once we come into accounts receivable module, we will configure post dated checks there also. I will show you in the perspective of customer. So generally the configuration and the process is all the same. There is no change. It's just that in case of customer payment, your bank account will get debited instead. Here money is going out of bank, right? Since we are paying to vendors, there we will receive money from the customers into our bank account. So just a reverse situation, that's all. So we'll see that part again in accounts receivable module, post dated checks for customers. Okay. Then today let us see another concept. Here we have, so this deposit slips and PDC we have discussed. Deposit slips concept also we'll discuss in accounts receivable module. Okay, today let us concentrate on this one, manual bank reconciliation. How can we do a bank reconciliation in cash and bank management for a specific bank account? And what are the things, options we have within bank reconciliation? How we can do that, we can see now. Okay, so this part. So in order to do a bank reconciliation for a bank account, so firstly let us discuss about what is a reconciliation. What is bank reconciliation? Why do we do bank reconciliation in business? Anyone?
So we do bank reconciliation. Okay, carry on.
No problem. Any one of you or both of you, one by one. Sairam.
We do bank reconciliation to make ensure that the bank books and the books we maintain are equal, and to see why the differences are arising.
Okay, that's correct. And Saideep for Santosh was saying something.
No, actually, when we post a check, sometimes the person to whom we have given the check, they may have taken the amount or not. We will think that from our point that it is still, it has been withdrawn, but they might have not withdrawn, or such things, such things it might have happened. That is where we need to reconcile and take the actual status of the amount.
Okay. So it's in the perspective of one transaction mismatch. Okay. So anybody else? So as Sairam was saying, or as the other person is saying, bank reconciliation is done to identify the mismatch of, or to match the transactions that are posted in our Dynamics bank books to the actual transactions that are posted in the bank. So we will bring the bank statement. We will reconcile the transactions that are posted here in our bank books with that particular bank statement. We'll keep that in one hand on the one side, and we'll tick the transactions that are available in the bank statement. So if they are available in the bank statement, that means that those transactions are hitting the bank. Or there are chances that some transactions that we posted in Dynamics may not be added to the bank or may not be affected in the original bank account. So like Pala was saying, suppose if we have posted a check and we are doing reconciliation, there are chances that vendor did not cash that check. If vendor did not cash that check transaction will not be available in the bank statement because that's not affecting the bank yet. But in our books, it is affected already. So to identify the mismatches between the balances and to identify the reasons for the mismatches of original bank balance and our books bank balance, we will do bank reconciliation process. Okay, there are chances that bank might add some fees details and charges or interest in our bank account that we might not record sometimes, but only when we bring bank statement, then we will understand that there are some additional transactions. So how to handle those additional transactions? So how in reconciliation process we can do the matching of transactions and also create new transactions. We will see that part today in bank reconciliation. So this reconciliation process that we are doing is called manual bank reconciliation, since there are manual efforts and system is not automatically reconciling it. So in order to reconcile a bank account, you have to go to cash and bank management. Here we have bank accounts. You can also go through here actually bank account statement reconciliation, but that's okay. Go with here bank accounts and bank accounts. Click on bank accounts. Select the bank account for which you want to do the reconciliation. I'll select this bank, ICICI. Okay. If I select this bank, click on reconcile here. If you click on reconcile, you have these options: account reconciliation, reconcile transactions, and unreconciled transactions. Okay, we have list of transactions that we can access from here by clicking on transactions. Within that, there can be transactions which are reconciled previously. I mean, with the beforehand, in the before reconciliation, we might have done some reconciliation. So that transactions will be available under reconciled transactions. So the unreconciled transactions or the transaction that has to be reconciled will be available under this option, unreconciled transactions. If I click on here, these are the few transactions: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 transactions that has to be reconciled. If I go back, reconcile transaction, I think I have two transactions. It's a check transaction and check vendor payment through check and check reversal. So while reversing that check, actually we have reconciled them. We used that parameter of reconcile, so it automatically reconciles these two transactions. Okay, so there is no need to again reconcile these two transactions. For now we can leave them. I mean, it's just a reversal transaction knocked off to each other, that's all. So you can go back and you can click on account reconciliation for starting the reconciliation process. Before that, let us check the balance in the bank account. So the balance in the bank account is 19,300. Okay, remember that the balance in the bank is 19,300. So now let us do some transaction. Okay, suppose that here in your bank account the bank balance is 19,300. Okay, what I'll do is bank balance in Dynamics 365 is 19,300. Bank balance ICICI original bank is equal to only 19,000. Okay, when I bring the bank statement, I identified the bank balance is 19,000 only, not 19,300. There is a $300 mismatch. Okay, no problem. We will reconcile and identify what is the mismatch related to and how we can work on it. Okay, so here bank balance in original ICICI original bank is 19,000, right? So I'll go here, click on reconcile, click on account reconciliation here. Give a date for which you are doing the reconciliation, or for which date you brought the bank statement from the bank. So I'll select this date, 13 is my bank statement date. So give a name for the bank statement. We can normally say reconciliation as of 13 September, like this. Okay, reconciliation 13 September, right? So it's in US dollar only, since the bank account currency is US dollar only. And the ending balance that you have to enter here is the ending balance that you have identified in the bank statement here. The ending balance that you have identified in the bank statement, original bank statement, that you have to enter. So that is 19,000, right? So I'll enter 19,000 here and save this. Clear until here? I am doing reconciliation on 13th. Okay, I gave the description here. Then I gave the ending balance on that particular date. It is 19,000. So it's not reconciled yet. If at all it's reconciled, you can see the date of reconciliation here actually. Okay, so it's 19,000. So now the further process is to reconcile it. So how to reconcile is what we have here, the transactions. If I click on transactions here on the top, I can see all these transactions. Here I can see ending balance, unreconciled balance is 19,000. The balance that we gave there outside will automatically come here as 19,000, and unreconciled balance it is showing as 19,000. Okay, 19,000 and 19,000, correct. I mean, if at all we select one of it, suppose if I select this 30,000 transactions here, checked it. Once if I check this transaction, see unreconciled balance is minus 11,000. 30,000 minus So 19,000 minus 30,000 minus 11,000 is unreconciled. If I select this transaction also, I mean clear this transaction, 10,000. So there is unreconciled balance of 1,000. So if I select this, so it is reconciled. I mean there is no unreconciled balance. But in statement, I have all these transactions. In bank statement, I have all these transactions. So that is why I am marking all these transactions. So I'll keep my bank statement in another tab or in hand and try to match the transaction. So for this particular date, 30,000 it is there. Yes, ticket. This is there. 10,000 tick. 1,000 is there. 1,200 is there. 1,700 is there. 500, 1,800. Everything is there. But there is a difference of 300. For that 300, there were some additional transactions that are in the bank statement that we did not record in our bank. So that is why we could not identify here. So how to use them, we can see it. We can do it actually. How to do that additional transactions. So this is way how we can clear the transactions. Suppose if this 1,700 transaction is not available in the bank statement, you can take it off. You can mark it off, but you have to identify that 2,000 transaction. Where are those 2,000 transactions? For this 2,000 difference amount, you have to identify what is the additional transaction that we have in the bank statement for this 2,000 amount. Okay, suppose assume that this is also there and we have 300 difference. Now we have to identify what is the difference amount for that 300. Okay, before we identify or create new transactions, so I'll show you few more setups we have here. So here, if I have cleared few transactions, right? I mean all the transactions. Here I can see show cleared transaction summary. This one. This will show according to the group. So we have created cash group, right? I mean, what is a vendor transaction, bank transaction type groups, not vendor, sorry, bank transaction type groups, bank transaction groups. In that cash group means we have cash payments as well as cash deposits. So we have a total of 10,000. Here we have check group wherein there is check issued and as well as check received. But we don't have any received checks since we did not work with accounts receivable module. We only have paid checks for a total of 5,700. You can see check transactions 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 checks, 1,000 plus 1,200, 2,200 plus 1,700, 3,900 plus 1,800, 5,700. Correct. Okay. It shows the balances according to the bank transaction group. So electronic group, we have one receipt that is for 5,000. So this I posted just before our class starting. This 5,000 transaction is a revenue receipt using electronic method. So here I have this option, electronic group for 5,000. So according to the bank transaction group that we have created, we have here this balances. So you can again click on hide and it will be hidden. Okay. So this is why we use this option, show clear transaction summary according to the bank transaction groups we have created. So where do we have that bank transaction groups? It's in cash and bank management. Here bank transaction groups, here we have. So within bank transaction groups, we have grouped some transactions into cash group, check group, electronic group. So the same you can see 100 cash group, 101 check group, 102 electronic group. So according to the group, we have balances. So this one does not have any group, but because we don't have any bank transaction type given here. Suppose we can add a bank transaction type here actually. It's a deposit transaction, right? So I'll use this cash deposit only and I'll refresh this. So that is also going into this cash group only automatically. Here. It's added here in this group. This is one feature. Again, you can also use this feature for marking check intervals. Suppose assume that there are 50 to 60 transactions here, out of which there are 10 checks starting from 101 to 110 like that. Okay, you can use this option mark check interval to mark all those checks. You have identified in the bank statement that there are checks. Suppose I'll show you this. I'll just close this one. Unmark these checks. Okay. So assume that you have identified some checks in the bank statement. So you want to mark all those checks automatically. So you'll starting from 101 to 107. What all checks are there? Mark all of them. So system automatically mark those checks according to the range that you give here in the mark check interval. See here, automatically marked after, automatically cleared. For that purpose, we can use this mark check interval option. Okay. Then since it's a check transaction, you can see this check getting enabled here. If it is a deposit slip, then deposit slip get enabled. That's for customer transaction, customer payments received. Okay, this is for vendor payments. You check for other transaction where check is not involved. You see this is disabled. For this, you can see this checks option. It will directly take you to the checks menu. At check number 102, you paid it to one of the vendor 1200 amount. This is the same menu for the checks that we have seen previously. Okay. Then we have this option of voucher. You can also see the transaction, voucher that is posted for this transaction. For this 1200, accounts payable is debited for 1200 and ICICI Bank ledger account is credited for 1200. So this is a kind of voucher. So this is how you can tick the transactions. As I told you, if you don't identify such transaction in the bank statement, you can untick it. So after 2 days again, you will do reconciliation. After a day or 2 days or a 1 week, you can again do reconciliation. In that bank statement of new transactions, you might see that transaction. So if you ignore this, it will still stay in the unreconciled transactions and you can reconcile it in the next turn. Next time when you reconcile this bank once again, you can do it later. Okay, so that is how you can ignore one of the transaction if you feel like ignoring. So this is one part. Next here we have 300, right? So 300 of credit amount, as I would say, like negative amount. So how can I clear this 300 negative amount? Or suppose that I have identified the bank statement, it is showing 1900 balance. There are three transactions there are three transactions because of which this 300 difference is showing. Okay, one transaction is a bank interest received. Okay, bank paid us some interest or added some money to our account only. So that is like 150, some 150 rupees bank added. So if bank added means it is a positive 150, but we have negative 300, right? So then I have seen another transaction wherein bank fees is collected by bank. So this, I'll use this is equal to option. So bank fees is collected by bank. Here bank fees it collected $250. Okay, this is minus 250. So the net term is now. So there is another this one I call it as bank charges. So bank check fee, for one of the check, bank has collected some fees of minus 200. Okay, here now you can tally these three transactions, 150 minus 250 minus 200, total of, what is the total, guys?
300.
300.
Yes.
Minus 300, right? So these are the three additional transactions I have in my bank statement, which are not posted in my dynamics. Okay, for check number 102, suppose bank have collected some 200 fees or bank charged some fees, maybe for some other reason. So this is for bank charges, and bank also given some interest to us, which we have to debit to our bank account here in our books. Okay, there are three identified transactions causing this difference of 300. This difference of 300. Okay, now we will create those three transactions here itself. Normally we can go to general ledger and post these three transactions. If you feel like you can post them and come back again and reconcile them, no problem. You can go back from this page outside also, again come back to and continue from where you have stopped. You can do that too, but you can also create new transactions here in this place also. So how we can do that, we will see now. Okay, first let us start with this transaction, interest received. Okay, so for that I am opening here. I have this option called as new. Okay, click on new. Then I'll get this option. You can select one of the transaction type. So I'll select a transaction type as interest income, since we have received this interest income from bank 150. So I'll select the bank transaction type as interest income. Okay, as soon as I selected bank transaction type as interest income, I see this main account here 403. What is this account? It is interest revenue account. So the amount is 500. Sorry, how much amount? 150, right? So I'll give 150 here. That's okay. So how I am getting this amount? I mean, getting this account 4003. Any idea?
While creating a bank transaction type, we have given interest income as well, and we have created the account, main account
So when we have created bank transaction types here,
types.
we have created a bank transaction type called as interest income, and we have given a main account for this bank account for this interest income, which is revenue account, interest income account we have given. So that account will automatically appear here. Suppose when I have to post any interest income received from bank, what is the entry? Guys, tell me what is the entry when we receive the amount from bank, interest income.
A bank account debited and the interest income account will be credited.
Bank account will be debited, interest income account will be credited, correct? Or do anybody have any confusion in this entry? So bank will add some amount, some $150 into our bank account automatically, so wherein our bank account is debited. So this is a revenue, right? Income or revenue will be credited anyway. So this is the entry. So for this purpose, for credit purpose here, system automatically takes this account 4 lakh. The system automatically know that if we give positive amount, it is debiting the bank only here. So it will credit the other account here automatically. So this is how we can add this transaction. So 150 is added enough. So this is also marked. Now I will refresh this. See, now the difference is 450. Okay, for clearing this 450, we also have another two entries, right? Bank charges one and bank check fees one. So we will also add those two again. So okay, before adding them, I'll show you normally this details. So here we have the option of cleared. You can see all the cleared transactions. Here also you can select the criteria cleared, not cleared transaction. Suppose not cleared means you don't have any not cleared, right? All of them are cleared. So you can see all of them as cleared. And for all criteria, suppose if I did not mark this transaction, I can see it in not clear transactions here. I can see all and I can mark it again. Okay, this is one. Next is this bank transaction type. You know, bank transaction type is automatically taken on whenever we do transaction, we give it right. So from there automatically it considers bank transaction type. Then we can see dates on which particular date transactions are done. Then we can see check numbers. What are the check numbers and deposit slip numbers in case if you have any deposit slips. Then the amount of transaction. Then the how much amount it is debited or credited to the bank. Amount in transaction currency means since we have done everything in US dollar only, we can see all of them. If they have done in foreign currency, we can see foreign currency balance here and bank and the local currency balance here. I mean the accounting currency balance here. So this correction amount part we will see enough. Okay, we'll come back. So main account, we know if we give it, we can automatically get this main account here. And we can see related party name. Related party name means if it is a vendor transaction, we can see vendor. And if it is not normal transaction, we don't have any related party. If it is customer, we can see customer. If it is a customer receipt or payment receipt from customer, we can see customer here and we can see this number, account number of the vendor. MRF001 is the vendor account number and this is the name of the vendor. Maruti Suzuki. In the same way, if we have customer transaction, we can see that customer and customer account number and customer name here. That's all. So this is a simple overview of how it looks like. Okay, now I can also change the date if you want to. Actually, I could have done it. I mean, it's already marked, right? It's for this 150. That's okay. We'll do for new transaction. See if it is applicable or not. Okay, we have two more transactions to be added. One with bank charges 250 and another one with bank check fees for check number 102 200 minus $200. So we'll see how we can do it. First, let me add the $250 bank charges. So I have added this. So I can select the bank transaction type here. The bank transaction type is bank fees or charges. Here you can see transaction type 11. I'll selected it. Once I select it, I see the main account here populating automatically. Bank fees or charges. If you want to change it, you can change this main account. System doesn't throw any error. Okay, but it's no point that we change this account. We have created it for purpose, right? So no need to change that account. So let's keep the account as so. So for this transaction, how much is the amount? Minus 250. So what I'll do is I'll add minus 250 here. You see, I can also change the date. Suppose that banked amount was cut off on 9th of October, 9th of September. I can give that 9th date here. Okay, I'll save it. So these are just additions we are doing. We did not post them yet, right? Suppose if you click on this transaction and click on voucher, so you don't see any voucher because we just created it, did not posted it. Once we do reconciliation, we can post it. Until and unless it is reconciled here, I mean, here if it is the balance becomes zero, we don't see this option reconcile account. If at all it becomes zero, we can see this option of reconcile account. I can click on it and account can be reconciled. Okay. So use, I mean, if this is balanced, then only I can reconcile the account. See, there are another $200 left over. For that, we have planned one more transaction. Bank charges or fees for $200. So for bank charges or fees, I was saying that for check number 102, there is an additional charge, right? So for that, to add an additional amount here, I can add it here, correction amount option. I have correction amount for bank check. So I will add another $200 as the correction amount. See, as soon as I have added correction amount, I see an account here automatically coming, bank fees or charges account. How it is coming automatically? Any idea?
We are mentioned number in the bank charges check bank check.
So here when we created check payment option, this is the bank, it is a type right here, check 04 is the transaction type. So for that also we have given bank charges with a pre-mindset, assuming that there can be charges sometimes. I have given the bank charges account here for the check payment also, so that whenever there is any such kind of adjustments like $200 or any 50 or 30 charges on the bank check, system auto we can add 200 here in the correction amount, so that system will automatically take this account, bank charges account, into for this posting this transaction, and it is adjusted into this bank amount 1400. Advantage of this is that system will adjust this into the previous check voucher only automatically. This 200 balance also it will adjust into the previous check voucher only once after reconciliation. Okay, we will see how system will handle this. Now I will refresh this here. You see I refreshed it. Now the balance becomes zero. Okay, so you can see the opening balance as zero because this is the first time you are doing reconciliation, right? So you don't have any opening balance. So suppose if I have done reconciliation with ending balance of 1900, again if I am doing reconciliation, then the opening balance will automatically become 1900. Okay, so second time when you do reconciliation. So for now 1900 is my ending balance and I don't have any opening balance, so I have reconciled all of them. So I missed 3 transactions which I've entered here. You can see this interest income $150 and this bank charges which is bank deducted on 9th of September. I have added minus $250 crediting my bank account since money is deducted. Then for posting check number 102, bank charges some check fees of 200. So I have added that check fees as correction amount here. System automatically adjusted that amount in the bank amount balance, and it also took an account here. So we can post this. I mean, if I click on reconcile account, these 3 transactions which we have created newly will automatically get posted. Okay, let's see how they will get posted and how we can see the voucher. Before I reconcile this, is it clear until here for all of you? The logics how in reconciliation process. Let me know if you have any doubts.
JP.
Somebody is asking something. Yes.
సో మనం అప్పుడు 19,000 అనేది మీరు నార్మల్గా ఒరిజినల్ బ్యాంక్ అకౌంట్ లో 19,000 ఉంది, కానీ మనకి బ్యాంక్ అకౌంట్ లో 19,300 ఉందని అని చెప్పారు కదా.
కరెక్ట్. ఎస్.
ఆ 19,300 అనేది ఎజంప్షన్ లేకపోతే ఇక్కడ ఉన్న అకౌంట్ బట్టే తీసుకున్నారా?
చూసాం కదా మనం ఇందాక బ్యాంక్ లో బ్యాలెన్స్ చూసే తీసుకున్నాం.
ఓకే,
ఇందాక రికన్సిల్ చేసేటప్పుడు బ్యాంక్ బ్యాలెన్స్ క్లిక్ చేశాను నేను. బ్యాంక్ బ్యాలెన్స్ క్లిక్ చేసినప్పుడు ఇక్కడ 300 ఉంది, 19,300 ఉంది బ్యాంక్ బ్యాలెన్స్. ఇందాక బ్యాలెన్స్ క్లిక్ చేశాను. సారీ 1900 ఉంది ఇక్కడ. ఇందాక నువ్వు చెప్తా 19,300. ఓకే
19,000 ఉందన్నారు కదా.
సో యాక్చువల్గా ఇది ఇంకా రికన్సిల్ చేయలేదు కదా. ఇందాక 19,300 ఉంది ఇక్కడ నేను ఓపెన్ చేసినప్పుడు. ఇప్పుడు ఈ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ అడ్జస్ట్ చేశాం కదా, అందుకని ఆటోమేటిక్గా 300 తగ్గింది.
సో ఆ ఒరిజినల్ బుక్స్ లో 19,000 ఉందన్నారు కదా, ఆ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ ని ఎలా పోస్ట్ చేశారు? కొంచెం మిస్ అయ్యా నేను. అంటే 19,000 ని మీరు మ్యాచ్ చేయడం కోసం ఇప్పుడు 3 ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్
నో ప్రాబ్లం. నేను బ్యాంక్ బ్యాలెన్స్ చూసినప్పుడు నా సిస్టంలో 19,300 ఉంది. ఓకే, నేను ఇక్కడ రికన్సిలేషన్ క్రియేట్ చేశా కొత్తది. చేసినప్పుడు నా బ్యాంక్ అకౌంట్లో ఎంత ఉంది 19 అనేది చూసాను. ఫస్ట్ బ్యాంక్ ఒరిజినల్ స్టేట్మెంట్ తెచ్చుకున్నాను నేను. ఆ పర్టికులర్ డేట్కి బ్యాంక్ స్టేట్మెంట్లో 19,000 ఉంది. కానీ నా బ్యాంక్ బుక్స్లో మాత్రం 19,300 ఉంది. సో నేనేం చేశానంటే ఇదే బ్యాలెన్స్ ఇవ్వాలి. మనం బ్యాంక్ స్టేట్మెంట్ బ్యాలెన్స్ ఏదైతే ఉంటుందో, ఒరిజినల్ బ్యాంక్లో ఎంత బ్యాలెన్స్ ఉంటుందో అది తీసుకొచ్చి ఇస్తాం. 19,000 ఇక్కడ ఇచ్చాను. ఇది ఇచ్చినప్పుడు ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ క్లిక్ చేస్తే ఈ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ అన్నీ ఉన్నాయి, అన్నీ మార్క్ చేశాను. చేసినప్పుడు 300 డిఫరెన్స్ వస్తుంది. అప్పుడు చూస్తే బ్యాంక్ స్టేట్మెంట్లో అర్థమైంది నాకు ఏంటంటే అడిషనల్గా 3 ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ ఉన్నాయని చెప్పి. అవి నేను ఇక్కడ క్రియేట్ చేశాను అంతే.
ఓకే, ఈ 19,000 ని మనం ఓపెనింగ్ బ్యాలెన్స్ లేదా ఏమన్నా పోస్ట్ చేయాలా, లేదంటే ఎలా?
అవసరం లేదు, జస్ట్ ఎంటర్ చేస్తే చాలు. ఓపెనింగ్ బ్యాలెన్స్ గా ఏం పోస్ట్ చేయాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. జస్ట్ ఇక్కడ క్రియేట్ చేసేటప్పుడు రికన్సిలేషన్ ప్రాసెస్ కోసం మనం 19,000 బ్యాలెన్స్ కి రికన్సిల్ చేద్దాం బయలుదేరాం.
ఓకే, అది ఆప్షన్ ఎక్కడ? మనం ఇక్కడ అకౌంట్స్ లో న్యూ క్లిక్ చేయాలా, లేకపోతే
బ్యాంక్ అకౌంట్స్ లో ఇక్కడ రికన్సైల్ లో అకౌంట్ రికన్సిలేషన్ ఉంటుంది.
ఓకే ఓకే,
ఇక్కడ న్యూ క్లిక్ చేస్తే వస్తుంది. ఇది రాగానే మనం డేట్ ఎంటర్ చేసి డిస్క్రిప్షన్ ఇస్తాం, కరెన్సీ ఆటోమేటిక్ వచ్చేస్తుంది, బ్యాలెన్స్ ఇస్తాం అంతే. ఓకే, నవ్ ఐ క్లిక్డ్ ఆన్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్. దెన్ మనం బ్యాంక్ స్టేట్మెంట్ వెరిఫై చేసుకొని ఇక్కడ ఉన్న ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ మ్యాచ్ అయినవన్నిటిని క్లియర్ చేసుకుంటూ వెళ్తాం. మ్యాచ్ కానీ వదిలేస్తాం. ఓకే, అడిషనల్గా అక్కడ ఇంకేదైనా పోస్ట్ అయితే అవి చేస్తాం. కొన్ని అడిషనల్గా పోస్ట్ అయ్యి ఉండొచ్చు, బ్యాంక్ స్టేట్మెంట్లో ఉండకపోవచ్చు, వాటిని క్లియర్ చేయం, అన్క్లియర్ చేస్తాం అంటే వదిలేస్తాం. ఇలాగా క్లియర్ ఆప్షన్ మేబీ లేటర్ పోస్ట్ అవ్వచ్చు, లేకపోతే కొన్నిసార్లు రాంగ్గా పోస్ట్ అయ్యి ఉండొచ్చు. రాంగ్గా పోస్ట్ అయితే ఏం చేస్తామంటే ఆ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ రివర్స్ చేసుకోవాలేమో, మేబీ తర్వాత చెక్ చేసుకోవాలి అది ఎందుకు పోస్ట్ చేశాడు యూజర్ ఈ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్, బ్యాంక్లో ఎందుకు పోస్ట్ అవ్వలేదు, రీజన్ వెతుక్కోవాలి. ఆర్ యూ కెన్ కన్సల్ట్ బ్యాంక్ వై దిస్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ ఇస్ నాట్ appearing in the bank transaction statement అనేది. Okay, so other than this, does anybody have any other doubts or confusion in this reconciliation? This is the most advanced explanation. We have all the things covered here. Okay, let me know if you have any doubts in this part.
జేపీ చెక్ పేమెంట్ అప్పుడు చెక్ చార్జెస్ అప్పుడు మెయిన్ అకౌంట్ హిట్ అయింది కదా, -200.
అవును,
అది ఒకసారి చెప్తావా ఎట్లా హిట్ అయిందని?
సో యాక్చువల్గా మనం ఇక్కడ బ్యాంక్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ టైప్స్ క్రియేట్ చేసాం. బ్యాంక్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ టైప్స్ క్రియేట్ చేసినప్పుడు చెక్ పేమెంట్ అని చెప్పి ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ టైప్ క్రియేట్ చేసాం 04. దానికి మెయిన్ అకౌంట్ ఇచ్చాం ఇక్కడ. ఓకే, నేను ఏ ఎజంప్షన్లో ఇచ్చానంటే ఎప్పుడైనా చెక్ పేమెంట్ చేసినప్పుడు బ్యాంక్ ఫీజు కలెక్ట్ చేసేద్దేమో అని ఒక ఎజంప్షన్లో చేసినప్పుడు నాకు తెలీదు. బ్యాంక్ మనకి డైరెక్ట్గా చెప్పదు కదా ఇంత ఛార్జ్ చేస్తున్నాను, ఛార్జ్ ఎంతైనా అవ్వచ్చు. తర్వాత నా బ్యాంక్ స్టేట్మెంట్ తెచ్చుకున్నాక నాకు తెలుస్తుంది. తెలిస్తే ఆ పర్టికులర్ చెక్కి ఆ ఫీజుని అడ్జస్ట్ చేయడానికి నేను ఈ మెయిన్ అకౌంట్ ఇచ్చాను. సో ఇక్కడికి వచ్చినప్పుడు నాకు ఆ చెక్కి 200 ఛార్జెస్ అయినాయి అని తెలిసింది నాకు బ్యాంక్ స్టేట్మెంట్ చూసినప్పుడు. సో అది ఆ చెక్కే లెవీ అయ్యేలాగా నేను ఇక్కడ కరెక్షన్ అమౌంట్ ఇచ్చా 200 -200 1200తో పాటు -200 ఇచ్చా. సో టోటల్ 1400 అయింది ఇప్పుడు. సో ఇక్కడ 200 అడ్జస్ట్మెంట్కి అకౌంట్ తీసుకుంది సిస్టమ్ ఆటోమేటిక్.
ఓకే.
Then anything else guys, just let me know your doubts. This is understanding, this is important. Okay, don't just skip it. Anyone? Saideep, అర్థమైందా? సంతోష్, శేషు, ఓకే, సుశీల,
యా క్లియర్.
ఓకే, చైతన్య,
జేపీ తర్వాత మీరు ఈ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ ఎక్కడ పోస్ట్ చేశారు? ఈ మిస్ అయిన మన అడిషనల్ గా 3 ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ మిస్ అయినాయి కదా.
అవును, అవి చూస్తాను. పోస్ట్ అవ్వలేదు ఇంకా, జస్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేసి పెట్టాం. ఇప్పుడు రికన్సైల్ అకౌంట్ క్లిక్ చేస్తే పోస్ట్ అవుతాయి.
ఓకే, మనం ఫస్ట్ ఈ అకౌంట్స్ న్యూ అని క్లిక్ చేసి క్రియేట్ చేశారు కదా, దానికి అంటే నావిగేషన్
ఏం లేదు. ఇక్కడ న్యూ క్లిక్ చేస్తాం, క్లిక్ చేసి ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ టైప్ ఇస్తాం. ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ టైప్ ఇస్తే ఆటోమేటిక్గా అకౌంట్ తీసుకుంటుంది. ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఇన్కమ్ అని ఉందా, ఇవ్వగానే ఇక్కడ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఇన్కమ్ అకౌంట్ తీసుకుంది.
నేను నావిగేషన్ బ్యాంక్ అకౌంట్స్ లోనే
బ్యాంక్ అకౌంట్స్లో ఏం లేదు. బ్యాంక్ ఇందాక రికన్సిలేషన్లోనే వచ్చాం. బ్యాంక్ అకౌంట్స్లో అకౌంట్ రికన్సిలేషన్ క్లిక్ చేస్తాం. బ్యాంక్ అకౌంట్ రికన్సైల్ అకౌంట్ రికన్సిలేషన్
ఓకే
క్లిక్ చేసి న్యూ యాడ్ చేస్తాం. చేసినాక డేట్ ఇస్తాం, రికన్సిలేషన్ ఇదేంటి డిస్క్రిప్షన్ ఇస్తాం, బ్యాలెన్స్ ఇస్తాం, ఎండ్ బ్యాలెన్స్. తర్వాత ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్లోకి వెళ్తాం.
ఓకే ఓకే
ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్లోకి వెళ్ళాక ఇక్కడే న్యూ క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం. ఈ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ అన్ని న్యూ క్రియేట్ చేసిన 150, 250, ఈ 200 అడ్జస్ట్మెంట్.
ఓకే ఓకే
Okay. Now, if this is clear, since it is, I mean, there is no more balance for reconciliation. I mean, if everything is reconciled, I can click on reconcile account here. If I click, yes, you can ask doubt earlier, na? So tell me, there is some error. I know why that error is coming. Let me know. Somebody is asking something. Yes. Santosh Chepan.
ఎస్, అది ఇప్పుడు మనం కొత్తగా 3 ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ చేస్తాం కదా, ఇవి ఆల్రెడీ అంటే ఆటోమేటిక్గా లెడ్జర్లో పోస్ట్ అయిపోతాయా?
పోస్ట్ అవుతాయి ఇప్పుడు. వోచర్ పోస్ట్ అవుతుంది వాటికి.
ఓకే.
ఎర్రర్ ఓపెన్ చేయకుండా ఎర్రర్ ఎందుకు వచ్చింది? కెన్ సంబడి టెల్ వై వీ హ్యావ్ దిస్ ఎర్రర్ మెసేజ్ వితౌట్ ఓపెనింగ్ ద ఎర్రర్? Any assumption? Most common error recent times when we are doing any transaction in system in this company.
చెక్ పేమెంట్ ఇక్కడ
No, not related to check payment. Perfect. Financial dimensions missing అయి ఉంటుంది actually. You must select a value in the customer field in the combination. See, ఇక్కడ మనం అన్ని 3 కొత్త ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ బ్యాంక్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్సే కదా. సో దిస్ 150 is a new transaction which is including bank, right? So we have to give financial dimensions to that as well, to the bank account. Customer ఇది కూడా ఇచ్చేద్దాం. ఓకే సార్. లొకేషన్, డిపార్ట్మెంట్, కాస్ట్ సెంటర్, we have this option here. Okay, then for this 250 transaction also we'll give it quickly. I mean, these are the advanced rules actually. Tomorrow I'll remove them beforehand before we start the class so that the account structure will activate ayi untundi appadikalla. And this 200 ki iche panledu anukunta, we already have dimensions because we are just making adjustment, right, for the existing transaction. So existing dimensions will automatically be taken. Okay, and before I reconcile this now, let me know if you have any other doubts or any further doubts in this. Anyone? Okay, I'll consider it as no. Then I'll click on reconcile account. See, account has been reconciled, right? You don't have one more option. It's already reconciled now. So now you want to see the voucher that is posted for this new transactions, right? So for this 150, what is the voucher? Can somebody say what would be the voucher for this $150 of positive amount of interest income? Come on guys, it's a easy voucher.
Bank account will be debited and interest income will be credited.
Correct. Bank account is debited, interest income account is credited since it's a revenue account. So let's see the voucher. Click on this transaction, click on voucher here. You see it is automatically posted. It took a different voucher number actually. If it's for bank reconciliation new transaction voucher, you can see this one, interest revenue account is credited and bank account is debited here. Previously we did not see any voucher, right, when we create a transaction, but once after reconciliation, voucher will automatically get posted and the bank account balance will automatically get hit. This is how we can see it. So the other one, where is the other one? $250, this one, right? So what is the voucher for this? Come on, anyone? It's a simple voucher.
Bank fees account debit to.
Yeah, bank fees or bank charges account is debited, right? Then money is going from your bank only, so bank account will be credited.
To bank account.
Bank account will be credited and the charges account or the fees, which is an expense, right? So it will be debited expense account, this one. So let's see the voucher. See here, bank fees or charges account is debited with 250. Bank account is credited with 250. Minus 250 you can see, and minus 250 is here. Okay, clear. For this also you can see a different voucher number. 6001, and it's an automatic voucher number, actually not a straight general ledger voucher number or any other voucher number. It's an automatic voucher number taken from, I think, cash and bank parameters number sequences. Okay, I'll show you. 1 second. Cash and bank management number sequences here for bank reconciliation. I think this one only, vouchers created in bank reconciliation. So this is the one, 6010 or 600, right? So this is the one it took first, then 6001 it took automatically. So it's using actually pre-allocation, so no problem. So from here it takes for vouchers created in bank reconciliation, this voucher series. Okay, we'll go back to the another 200 adjustment we have done, this one, right? 1400. So 200 adjustment we have done for already posted check of 1200 balance. So let me click on voucher here. If I click on voucher, you can see that 200 balance is being adjusted into the same voucher. So see, voucher number 1002, we have already posted vendor transaction, vendor payment 002. Check into the same voucher, again system automatically adding this, but there is a journal batch number difference because that journal batch was already posted. It took a new journal batch number this time, and you see it is adjusting into the same voucher. Bank fees account or bank charges account will be debited and bank account is credited with another 200. Right? Any doubt in this? Anyone? Is it clear for all of you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So we have seen that 3 transactions getting affected to the bank account. Now this reconciliation is done, right? We can go back and we can see it's reconciled on 13/9/2021. Reconciled date it will show here. Okay, if you see this date, which means its reconciliation is already done. Okay. Newly we have some features for cancellation of reconciliation that's already done. Until the latest version we don't have. Currently in the latest version we have certain features. Yeah, there is a feature for there is a feature for cancelling the already reconciled, so that if we enable that feature in cash and bank management parameters, we'll get a parameter for bank reconciliation. Here we have a parameter for cancellation of bank reconciliation. If we enable that, I can come here and cancel this reconciliation and I can once again do the reconciliation if I want to. I can also, without cancelling, I can also make changes here. Suppose if I want to change this date here, I can change the date. If I want to change this description here, I can change it, but now I can't change it. That is the latest feature we have in cash and bank management reconciliation. Okay, if you enable that feature, you'll get a parameter. If you enable that parameter as well, you'll get that option. Okay, for editing this date and description, as well as you can directly cancel the reconciliation also if you want to. Again, you can do it from the scratch. Okay, remember that point. In the latest version we have that. Okay, so now if I go back, go to ICICI Bank, click on balance. Now I see 19,000. We have adjusted that 300, right? So it is also 19,000 now. We can see the transactions. I'm sorry, I clicked on wrong button. Bank accounts, transactions. I can see those transactions also. I mean that 150 transaction is here, 250 transaction is here, and you can see the check number 102, 1200, and amount is adjusted to 1400. And since all of these are reconciled, you can see the tick mark here, reconciled, reconciled, reconciled. If some of them are not reconciled, or if we had left them uncleared in the previous reconciliation, we could have seen the tick mark off for them, so that we have to reconcile them again. Okay, clear until here for all of you? So
Yes.
yeah, okay, so how to do next reconciliation, we can see it's not so tough. I'll generally post one more transaction for the bank for the other date. Okay, assume that I'm posting a new transaction, general journal transaction, go to lines. I'll post 1 or 2 transactions quickly. So I'll use an expense account. So I'll pay some expense. So I'll pay some travel expenses. Okay. Debit the expense account for 500 and offset account type as bank. Offset account is ICICI Bank. Okay. Of bank transaction type I can select, it's a cash payment. Suppose paying through bank, I mean withdraw and pay through bank, you can say. And I'll also add one more line here itself. So this here I am receiving some revenue. Okay, I am receiving this subscription revenue and crediting this I am receiving 1500. Okay, then I have a bank account. Offset account I can select ICICI offset bank, and transaction type I can give here. This is a cash deposits. Okay, I'm receiving money, right? So I'll just select the cash deposit one. I'll quickly give the financial dimensions for the offset account. Okay. For this line also I'll give financial dimensions for the bank account. Right, and save it. Now post it. So I have done 500 payment from my bank account and 1500 deposit into my bank account. So what is my new bank balance? So guys, what is my new bank balance now?
20,000.
Yes, 500 is created and 1500 is added. So to that 19,000 which is already there, this amount is added, right? So it will be 20,000. So I can go back to my bank account and click on balance. I can see 20,000 balance. Previously it used to be 19,000. I have received 1500. It increases to 20,500 and I paid 500. So it will remain as 20,000. I can see, right? Clear. So now we are doing reconciliation once again for the same bank account. Okay, to do reconciliation on the next time or once again, click on the bank account, click on reconcile here and click on account reconciliation here. Okay, suppose before that we can see what are the unreconciled transactions we have. So we have 2 unreconciled transactions, as you can see here. 2 unreconciled transactions, 1500 and 500, right? Okay, you can also see the selection. Reconcile means we can see already reconciled. If I see all means I can see all of them, out of which these 2 are unreconciled, 1500 and minus 500. Oh wait, this got ticked automatically. Okay, it's unticked again now. So on my unreconciled I have 2. Okay, now let us reconcile this one as well. So click on account reconciliation. So give a bank statement date here. So I am giving bank statement date as tomorrow date. Okay, just for sake. Okay, I'll give bank statement detail here. Okay, reconciliation, reconcile 14 September. Okay, then ending balance I have to give here according to my bank statement. So I have downloaded my bank statement from my bank website and I have seen the balance is 20,000 only. Okay, that is why I'm giving 20,000 only. I'm giving 20,000. So I click on save. Once I click on save, I'll get transactions here enabled. Click on transactions. So you can see only 2 transactions because your reconciled transactions will not appear again. Only the unreconciled transactions will appear. And you can see opening balance here as 19,000. Why it is showing as 19,000? Any idea?
We have reconciled the amount.
Last.
In the previous reconciliation, the ending balance is 19,000, right? We have given 19,000 as the ending balance when we have done previous reconciliation. This time we gave 20,000. We know. Previously I have given 19,000, right? That is why it automatically took 19,000. And the now ending balance is 20,000, which means there is a 1,000 difference that has to be reconciled now in our system. So for that 1,000 we have 2 transactions here. We can clear both of them. That 1,000 is cleared and we can see 0 here. Unreconciled balance is 0. Now I can reconcile it. Suppose if I did not select it and it is not, balance is not reconciled here, I don't see this option of reconcile account option here. Only once everything is, only once this 0 becomes 0, I can reconcile it. Okay, so this is of the second time they will do, and in the same manner they will do it again and again. Suppose if I click on reconcile account now, it is reconciled. Perfect. So if I go back, I can see the date of reconciliation here. I can see all. So there are two reconciliations, one for 13, one for 14. Ending balance was 19 then. Now the ending balance is 20,000. This time when I do new reconciliation once again, I'll see the opening balance is 20,000, because that's the this ending balance of today is the opening balance of tomorrow, right? According to the system. So it takes automatically. This is how we can do reconciliations on regular basis. You can do daily, you can do weekly, you can do anytime as you wish. Okay, just be smart enough to utilize the filters. Suppose here we have filters, right? So when you are doing, you can see transactions for all the dates. But if you want to do reconciliation only for a particular day, use this filter and select transaction only for that particular day. Ignore the remaining transactions. So do check all those transactions for that particular day. By matching will be easy rather than selecting them, choosing one by one. You can sort them by date, you can sort them by transaction type, you can sort them by check number, or you can use this smart check interval option to mark all the checks that are available in the bank statement. You can use all these options. Okay. Um, Anything else, guys? Any confusion in this part for anyone? Just let me know. So this would be all for today. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Else you can drop off. Okay. Tomorrow we'll discuss about few of the accounts payable parameters. Before that, we'll see the configurations required for advanced bank reconciliation. We don't do advanced bank reconciliation here, but I'll just give you a small overview how it works. And then we will see accounts payable, cash and bank parameters, then some reports, and we can wind up cash and bank management for tomorrow. And from day after tomorrow, we can discuss accounts payable. And I feel like we can take classes on Saturdays and Sundays also going further. Just let me know your opinion if that is okay for you, or if you want one day holiday, we can take it off. Sunday we can leave. On the remaining days we can take classes. Let me know your opinion, and I'll stopping this recording until here. If